Hello, welcome to another briefing. I'm going to start out by showing you the satellite, more localized satellite imagery for the Bay Area. I'm going to play this back to early this morning. So you see extensive marine layer stratus coverage. These are low clouds associated with this very cold water off of the California coast. Basically, we have a very narrow corridor of cold water right off of the coast. And so winds come off of the warmer, moist waters of the Central Pacific, where at the same latitude it can actually be warmer than it is off of the coast. They move over this really cold area of water, and they condense, forming this extensive stratus layer that, depending on how much pressure is or is not above it, can deepen and push in through the bays and valleys here. And what we've been seeing over the last few days as the heat dome, which was the big system of high pressure that had been sitting over our area for most of the first half of July, has begun to progress eastward. There is less pressure over the atmosphere. The pressure heights have begun to slowly drop, and that is allowing more intrusion of marine clouds, and also the wind that comes off of the ocean is stronger through these gaps, so it's bringing that colder air further inland, which is really helpful and really beneficial. You could see this morning the stratus was well into the Salinas Valley here, well into the bay, all the way down to San Jose, up and down the bay here. It got into some of the Napa Valley, the Sonoma Valleys as well. Into the North Bay, Petaluma, Santa Rosa, San Rafael, even saw a little bit of fog this morning, stratus, I should say. Fog is when it's touching the surface, otherwise it's considered stratus, just low clouds. So yeah, that is definitely having an effect on temperatures today. And I wanted to show you a wider view now. Let's look at a wider view of the western states here, because I wanted to show you these afternoon thunderstorms that have been popping up, particularly over the Rockies and the Sierra Nevada. But it's just a reminder, if you're out in the mountains, if you're out and about in the mountains today, please be careful. Be mindful that these storms can pop up at pretty much any time, and it's very hard to forecast these smaller scale thunderstorm events because they're very sporadic and spotty in nature. They pop up when you have just enough moisture pumping into the atmosphere, like we do today on the western edge of this high pressure system, which is now over the Four Corners. We have a lot of all the peripheral edges here, because you see basically right, so I'm going to show you this rotation. So the high pressure center right now, from what I'm looking at from this rotation, it looks like it's right over the Four Corners, like in between, right in between Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico, and that is causing, with that clockwise flow of winds around the high pressure center, we're seeing a lot of wraparound moisture that's coming up from the Gulf of Mexico and the Gulf of California, and you can see it's wrapping up around Nevada, Idaho, Wyoming, and then back down into Colorado and New Mexico here. So we are seeing a lot of thunderstorm activities in all of the mountain areas in all those states that I just mentioned. So please, eyes on the sky, take shelter if you hear thunder or you see rain. This is just the radar that I'm showing you, all the spotty storms now, and you can see if I get closer here, you can see some of these areas with these reds here. This is very, very heavy torrential rainfall. Once you get into reds and purples, you're talking about large hail being a possibility. So please be careful with that. And here I just wanted to show you a little bit of the winds and how much of that ocean wind has been picking up in the Bay Area today. And I wanted to give you an example. This is not far from where I live here in Sausalito, and you can see pay attention to where you have these mountains here, like the Wolf Ridge and the Coyote Ridge, for example. And then watch where you have the gaps. See there, here's what we have. We have a gap here that's known by some as the Rodeo Gap. And you can clearly see where the ocean wind is able to cut through these mountains, in between these mountains. And there's this weather station at Wolfback Ridge here. It's at 1,100 feet, and it's right at the edge of this gap here, gusting to 26 miles per hour on the wind. I'm just going to take the temperature away so it's easier to focus on the wind. And then you have at another station here, which is down a little bit downwind, but it's still very exposed to this gap, and it's at 19 miles per hour, gusting to 19 miles per hour currently. And at my house, I also just recently had a gust to 19 miles per hour. I can show you that in a bit. But it's also, my place is right around here, and you have the wind moving down another gap here, and all these little micro gaps too in between. See, I'm gonna just zoom in a little more, and you'll be able to see all these micro gaps in between the smaller hills here, and wind can also funnel through these and accelerate greatly as it does so, and so that's why you see such high readings on the wind compared to you go further into, see, here's another gap, 26. And look at this, you go further into the valley locations where the wind isn't funneling and pushing through as much, only 4 or only 9. See, so it's very interesting to see where you have more tight gaps here. See, here's a 23 after a tight gap. 16, because you're in another gap here. Wherever you have see, this is a high up, station is high up, and you can see a lot of gaps here too on the Tiburon Peninsula. So wherever you have that kind of situation, you know that there's going to be a lot of wind. So let me take a look now. Okay, so I'm going to show you the radar simulation. This is once again, as I said, it's really hard for computer models to pick up on where exactly the rain is going to be when it's a pop-up thunderstorm scenario. But this is a rough projection of where the rain is supposed to be within the next few hours. You can see Sierra Nevada mountains, Sawtooth Range in Idaho might get a little bit of something, the Tetons in Wyoming, the Rockies in Colorado. Basically any of these areas, if you're out and about, if you're hiking or camping or whatnot, please be careful. Keep your eyes on the sky and listen for thunder, and take shelter if you do hear thunder or see rain clouds approaching. This is basically, we go into tonight, and then in the morning it relaxes, and then tomorrow afternoon we may have a similar situation there. So please keep your eyes on the sky. There's one more image that I really wanted to show you. Here we go. This is the max gust that we had at my house at 2:07 p.m. today. We might get higher than this because we're still in the mid-afternoon, and the strongest gusts tend to occur late afternoon, early evening. But as you can see here, 20 miles per hour we had, just about 20. We had 19.9 out of the northwest at 2:07 p.m. and that's exactly because of the gaps in the coastal hills and how the wind funnels through them, as I was talking about earlier. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. I hope this was helpful. I hope you were able to get something out of it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.